Hi, this is Dan from Rocket Tools, and I've been getting a lot of questions lately about how I'm getting such good results on some of our chatbots. And it's because we've been able to integrate it with Afora. We've been really impressed with this tool. Afora is a document service where you can upload a PDF file and then you can use a large language model to query it and to create answers to questions, search for data to help you with your writing. And I will tell you, it's pretty spectacular. And we've used it on multiple clients where we've uploaded client documents that maybe work product that we've worked on, but we want to organize it, ask questions on it, things of that kind of nature. And so it's just actually been an incredible tool. But the problem with it, and I think this is on the roadmap, is that they don't have an ability to embed the chatbot on your website. And so you're really kind of forced to actually go into the platform to use it. Or if you wanted to use it to say train, put in an application on a website where people could actually query their own data, you could create something for your client. It's not easy to do from a simple embedding standpoint. But they do have an incredible API. And in fact, of all the API implementations that we've done on chatbots, it's by far the best documentation and the easiest to create. So I'm going to show you just how easy it is using Typebot and Afora to create a really cool chatbot. So let me show you how this works. So I've written an ebook on the essential guide to creating compelling business pitches. We do storytelling as a service. That's what we do. So we have this book and we can actually query it. So this is Afora. We could go down here and ask questions and we get everything we wanted to know from the book inside the platform. But if we wanted to be able to query this from another application, we would have to use their API. And they've got really great API documentation here. Now, I'm going to show you how to set up a chatbot using Typebot and this particular API. And this is how you do it. I've actually already created one, but I'm going to walk you through exactly how this works. But I want to show you how you would use this particular Typebot. So I'm going to click preview. And again, this is the same document that we were using before, but I could say something like I could say, please create a pitch for my car waxing business. And it's going to fire off the API. It's going to go over to Afora. And with this really kind of cool interface within Typebot, it's going to get information from the document, my book that we've written and uploaded. And it's going to use the API to actually query that book and come back with an answer. And the cool thing about Typebot is it tells us the webhook was successfully executed. And there's the output. And again, this is based on the information that we put in, but look, it's pretty good. Unleash the Shine experience, the ultimate car waxing service. And again, this is taking our principles on storytelling from that book and actually answering this particular system prompt. And that's what we came up with. It's really good. And we've actually set it to where you could ask it another question. So let's build this particular chatbot and show you how easy it is to do. So we're going to go back to the beginning. We're in Typebot. It's absolutely my favorite application for creating chatbots. We've got a lot of different ways to do it. We can hard code it. We can do all kinds of things, but this is by far the easiest solution, I think, on the market to actually create chatbots today. A couple things. I am not an affiliate. I get no compensation. I pay for all my tools, and I can just unbiased tell you that this is a spectacular program. So here's what we do. We can create Typebot. We're going to start from scratch. And we're going to give it a name, and we're going to say this is going to be just a test of Afora. That's what we're going to call it. And when you get onto the canvas, this is where the magic happens. This is actually where you build your flow. And the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with maybe a little bit of a nice introduction. We can say something like hi. And this bubble right here, these bubbles in this area are going to be things that you would actually display in the Typebot. I'm going to start off here. I usually like to label things. I'm going to say this is the intro section. And the second thing we're going to do is put a second text. And this text is going to be, how can I help you with your storytelling? So here's what we've done. We've created our canvas, we've asked 2 questions. So this is the intro text for our chatbot. Now we need to collect that information, and we're going to collect it using an input button. And we're only going to use a few things from the left menu today, but this is the text. We're going to put it right here, and we're going to set a variable. Now it's going to ask us to type your answer, and it's going to be, and it's going to have a send button, but we've got to save that text into a variable. And by definition, I always use the same variables, and I always use something like user answer. So this is the user answer. So I type in the name of that variable, I click create, and we've done the very first part of our chatbot. We've introduced it and we've collected information. So now what we have to do is to process that information using the API from Afforai. And the way we do that is through a webhook. It's an integration using a webhook. Now, there are multiple integrations within Typebot, including OpenAI, which is just so easy to set up. So if you're just trying to put together a conversational chatbot, but we're actually going to bring in a webhook. And again, we're going to label it. We're going to say this is going to be our Afforai completion. And we're going to configure the webhook. Now, there's some things that we have to do. It's going to be set up initially for a GET request, but we're going to click Advanced Configuration, which will open up the opportunity to create a POST request. And we got to fill in this information. Now I'm going to blow this up so it's actually a little bit bigger. And we got to fill in some basic information, but I'm going to show you how Afforai makes this so easy. So let's go back over to that screen we've gone to the API section. And the very first thing we have to collect is the endpoint URL. And it's actually right here. So we just copy it, and we're going to go back over to Typebot, and we're going to paste this right here. So part 1 is completed. Okay. There really isn't anything to do on query parameters, but we do need to add a heading language in. And this is listed over here in the information related to the API, which is very, very, very detailed. But I'm going to show you, you really don't need to do that. I'm going to tell you, here's the only value you have to type. And it's actually on Typebot already recorded. So you can just say content type, and it's going to be application JSON. And that's it. So you've added the header information. So first part of the API, you're actually completed with. Now the time for the body. And this is where it tends to get people confused, but I'm going to show you it's really easy. You have to click custom body, which will open up the input box here. We're going to go back over to Afforai, and you could build this out from scratch. So you could go through this information, put in the request parameters, you could build it out. But I'm going to show you a really easy trick on how to do it. And that is Afforai put an example request already present here. So all you really need to do is to copy this section. You want to start before the curly bracket, get the end of the curly bracket, and you just want to copy it. We're going to take it over to Typebot, and we're going to paste it. Now, it's going to paste it in one big solid line, and that's going to be confusing. So I'm going to tell you, we're going to start to break it up. So the very first thing, we're just going to go after the first curly bracket. We're going to move this down to the next line. And then after every comma, we're going to hit a return. So there's the first one. There's the second one. Now this one is an array, so we're going to leave it together. But as soon as we get to the first comma outside that array, we're going to hit return. And then there's one more. And then I like to put the curly bracket on the bottom line. So at this point, you have created all of the custom body that you need to create. Now, to make this work, we've got to fill in a couple of bits of information, and I'm going to blur these out so you're not going to see them, but I'm going to show you where you get it. So if you go back over to Afforai, at the very top of the API section is your API key. Now you're just going to be blurred out, so you can't copy my API key, but all you need to do is to copy it, come back over here to Typebot. We're going to just highlight that section, and we're going to hit paste, and we put in our API key. Okay. The second thing you need is session ID. And this is the one that's a little harder to find, but I'm going to show you it's not hard. We're going to go back up to our chatbots. We're going to go to our storytelling chatbot to the gear icon. Click the gear icon. And under chatbot ID, that's actually the session. So we copy that. We go back over to Typebot. We're just going to paste in this particular session ID. And again, it may be blurry on your screen. And we're done. So we've created our entire custom body API just by doing that. Now we got to do the completion. So we want to put some variables in for the test, but we don't really need them, right? We don't need them right now because there's actually already variables in this content here. And I'm going to show you in a minute a little trick on how to do that. But let's just go ahead and do it now. So the content that we need to put in here is what our user answer is. And Typebot makes it really easy to do. I just highlighted this pre-populated text and I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to go down here to where it says insert variable, and I'm going to insert the user answer. So now the information that we put into our chatbot is going to populate this part of the API. Now we can test it. Now to test it, I've got to give it some sort of answer. So I'm going to use the variable user answer, which is going to populate this part of the API. And I'm going to put a test value in here. I'm going to say something like, create a story about, back that up, make it real simple. Create a pitch about a car waxing business. Because remember, we're storytelling consultants. We help people develop pitches. And I'm going to click test request. And so what's going to happen is it's going to take this variable and it's going to insert this language into the API. It's going to run it over to Afforai. And if we've done everything correct, we should get a response. And it's important to do this test because we have to capture the return from the API so we can display it. So a couple things. And if you're new to APIs and new to programming, which by the way, I'm going to tell you up front, I am a storyteller. I'm not a programmer. Status goes to 200 means it worked. So that's a very successful thing. And you're going to look down here. It says data, success, output, completion. And completion is actually the answer to our chatbot request. Now, Afforai returns a bunch of citations and file citations. We don't really need that information, but we do need to save that variable. And we have to save it. We click add entry, and we have to select the data that we want to save. Typebot makes this incredibly easy. So just select the data, and we want the completion data. Okay. So if you go back up, you're going to see that completion is what we want. We want this completion. So look how easy that was actually to do. And we need to set the variable. And I always use the same terminology. I'm going to call it assistant answer. Okay. And I'm going to click create assistant answer. So now we've actually completed all of the API work that we need to query our chatbot, but we've got to be able to see it. So the way we do that is to go back over to Typebot, and now we pull in another text field. We put the text field right here, and the answer that we're looking for is assistant answer. So we're going to display the assistant answer. So to walk you through the flow, the chatbot's going to introduce us, where it's going to ask us what we want. It's going to collect that data as a variable called user answer. We're going to send the API request based on user answer over to Afforai. And when the return, we're going to capture the completion as assistant answer, and we're going to display it right here. Okay. So that's basically the entire flow. Now we're going to make it a little bit more a complete bot. And so we want it to be able to chat back and forth with us. This would just return one answer. So if you were putting together a solution where you were only going to get one answer, then that's great. You probably could stop here, but we're actually going to want to chat with it. So I'm going to put another text box, and I'm just going to say, how can I help you with your storytelling? So we'll just retype the same question we did at the beginning. Okay. And I just over. So it's going to type this response answer here. And I like to do something, again, this is a hack, a Dano hack for using Typebot. You don't have to do this, but I just think it makes things cleaner. I actually put a logic variable in here, and what I want to do is I want to set the user answer actually to empty. Okay. So basically, I'm going to reset the user answer. So I'm going to take out the data. I don't want that data to be confused, and I don't want to have to deal with it anymore. So basically, it resets the user answer to 0. And now I need to do just kind of what I did at the beginning. I need to collect information, and the collection of it is going to be type your answer, send button. And now I'm going to collect it into user answer, which is empty. Okay. Which is empty. Now, this is what's really cool about Typebot is that all I have to do to make this a loop is I just need to drag this button up to the top. And let's just go ahead and complete this, and I'll walk you through it. So the start button we bring over here. This one brings it to the completion. So now here's the way it works. It'll start as soon as we hit start. It's going to say, hi, how can I help you? It's going to collect the user answer. It's going to bring it over here, run it through the API using user answer. The return is going to be populated assistant answer. We're going to display that. Then we're going to say, how can I help you with your storytelling? Re-ask the question. We're going to reset that user answer to 0 or a null field, and we're going to collect it again. As soon as we collect it again, we're going to refire the API. So in just a matter of minutes, we've created a chatbot. Now let's see if it works. And the cool thing about Typebot is you can actually preview it. So let's just try something different. Let's say, please write a pitch for our nut cracking business. And I'll just put a period. We focus on pecans. Okay. We click send, and we can kind of monitor the progress. And this is what's really cool about Typebot is that you can try things and then you can quickly preview it. So you don't have to launch it. You don't have to publish it. You can just check your work right here, and you can get an idea if there's going to be a problem. So hopefully there's not a problem. The webhook fired successfully, and here we go. We got a pretty good answer and link. Let's see what it says here, just to make sure it would be cracking the nutty code, unleashing the flavor potential pecans. Good day. We're thrilled to present to you our nut cracking business where we specialize in the art of cracking pecans. So again, what's cool about this is that you could do this with OpenAI, but this is based on our approach to storytelling. So we're actually using our ebook and all of the knowledge within the ebook to actually write our story. And in fact, it followed a format that we like. We've got a bunch of formats in the book, but introduction, we're going to focus on the problem. We understand that cracking pecans can be a time-consuming and frustrating task. So we identify the problem, then we throw a solution, we create a value proposition, a little bit of a social proof, why choose us, and a conclusion. And then it's all set up to ask us another question. And it could be, say, something like, write a LinkedIn post about our nut cracking business. And we're going to see if this works. So what's going to happen here is that it's going to take this information and it's just going to loop back up and refire it. And remember, we've zeroed it out. So it's looking for new information. So we'll see if it works. It's the one thing about these models is that you're having to utilize other people's technology. So sometimes that can be a little slow, but our webhook fired. And there is our LinkedIn post. Now, looks a little bit long for me, but it's certainly something that you could edit, but it's got some emojis at the top. It looks like it put in some really kind of key takeaways and even created hashtags. So we've created the chatbot. So here's the cool thing. Using Typebot, you can actually share it. Now, Typebot, you can change the theme. So you could change the look and the feel and the colors. You can change some settings on how fast it's typing and that sort of thing. But the big thing I really want to show you is now that you've built the chatbot, you can share it. So you can share it as HTML. You can put it on your WordPress site. You can put it on Shopify. You could put it in an iframe if you want to. You can actually create an API of this particular chatbot. So you could fire 2 APIs, but I just want to show you kind of quickly about HTML. So in HTML, you can actually create a chat bubble, a pop-up, or even a full screen. So if you click bubble, it's going to show you right here. This is the script that you would need to insert into the body of your website. As soon as you did that, you will have created a chat bot on that particular site based on the data from Afforai. So I hope you found this is helpful. I'll leave some notes in the comment section below. I'd love to get feedback. I'm not a professional no code developer. I'm a storyteller, and that was how easy it was to be able to use a tool like Afforai to be able to create a chatbot for your website based on your own data. I think it's a phenomenal program, and I couldn't be more happy with using Typebot to be able to exploit it. So leave me your comments. Let me know what you think. And if you like more storytelling connections, particularly using Typebot and many of our other tools, leave that in the comments too, and we'll be happy to help you create those.